everyone and welcome back to my channel. Now, before you think I might have gone completely off the rails, completely cracked, I'm not wearing an eye patch because I think it's like Pirate Day or Halloween. I'm wearing this eye patch because I want to talk to you today about how we can build better habits. All should be revealed about why I'm using this eye patch as an example, but I'm going to talk to you today about some techniques for how to build and establish new habits. Hello everyone, if you are new here, my name is Rebecca and I do not always try and dress like a pirate and start my videos wearing eye patches. But today we're going to talk about habits, and I'm going to talk about a personal example of how I've established the habit of wearing this eye patch in order to help with my, and I don't like to call it a lazy eye, but my left eye is a little bit lacking in motivation to see. So I've been wearing this eye patch and I want to talk about how I've established this habit of wearing the eye patch and how to integrate some of the tactics I've used with any habit that you want to establish. This is such a good example because for me, wearing this and covering up my good eye essentially, it's very uncomfortable. Like most good habits and most things that we want to install, they're often uncomfortable. You have to step outside of your comfort zone, do something that you don't want to do. And also, I mean, I look like a fool when I'm wearing this. It's awkward. It doesn't feel very nice. It doesn't feel good just looking at this. It actually makes me feel quite sick because I'm not used to it. Like I'm a bit sort of like unbalanced. Like it's not great. And like anything, like whether it's, you know, going to the gym for the first time if you've never been before, you know, you feel uncomfortable, you feel them like icky feelings, like all the excuses for not doing it fire up and come and try and throw you off course. So I want to use this as an example today and talk about some of the things that I've done to help me to integrate it as a habit. So the first thing I did to establish this new habit was to really start small. So often when we start out with a new habit, we kind of go to the extreme. We kind of get all excited about the idea of going to the gym, working out for an hour every day, or rather than getting up at 8 AM every morning, getting up at 5 or getting up really early to do all of these new things. And that can be a really big leap. And sometimes the shock of that leap works, but sometimes it's a bit much. We do it for a few days or a week or something like that, and then it becomes a bit much and our excuses kind of get in the way and we feel like it's too hard and we can't keep up with it. So we go back to what we were doing before. With this, because it was so difficult and uncomfortable for me, I actually decided to only do it for 2 minutes a day. That doesn't sound like a lot, and you might be thinking, well, what on earth was the point? No, you do it for 2 minutes every day. The point of just doing it for 2 minutes and actually just setting the timer on my phone was that it made it a lot easier for me to just focus on those 2 minutes, to just say all you need to do is 2 minutes. It's the same for anything. If we just sort of say to ourselves that you can do anything for 2 minutes. If you never run in your life and you decide, you know, I want to get into running, and you go, I'll walk for 2 minutes or I'll run for 2 minutes. You can do 2 minutes. It's such a small amount of time that you think, yeah, of course I can do that. And then when you're out there, maybe you do a little bit more. You could write in your journal for 2 minutes. Like that's not a very long amount of time at all. By making it really small, it made it really manageable. And it also meant that when I was doing that every day for just 2 minutes, I was establishing the habit. I was establishing the process and the prompt to actually go and get the patch and put it on, rather than it being, so when I wanted to increase that time, I already had the practice that started to be embedded in my daily routine. I will come on to talk about routines a bit later on. So when it comes to establishing a new habit, it's really valuable, if you've not done something before, just to start small. You want to get up earlier, get up 10 minutes earlier, not an hour earlier. Build yourself up slowly so that you get used to just doing the thing, even if it's only for a short amount of time. The second thing to think about is your belief about your habit and yourself. So our beliefs about ourselves influence directly our actions, because they influence our thoughts and they influence the way that we feel and then ultimately what we do. So when we're starting out on a new habit, for example, say you want to write a book and you want to start a habit where you write a book for 20 minutes a day. That might be quite hard, because if you're in your mind, you're thinking, I'm not a writer, I'm not an author. If you start to say to yourself, I'm an author, I'm a writer, so of course I do X, that becomes a lot easier to establish the habit, because it becomes part of your identity. So for me, this became a belief about my ability to have more control over my body. It was about saying, I'm somebody who has control over my health, who can directly impact my own health with my action, who doesn't just rely on outside people telling me what is possible for me. I take back that control, and I am somebody who has control over that. Therefore, I am somebody who can wear this eye patch for a certain amount of time each day to improve the vision in my left eye. Like, that's something that I can do. Again, if it's a fitness goal, start saying to yourself, if you want to get into running, you never run like down the street for the bus, like, I'm a runner. Even if it's not true, just start saying to yourself these things. What we believe about ourselves becomes true, and our mind loves repetition. So say it every single day and start really believing it. Even if you haven't seen the results yet, your imagination is way more powerful than logic. So just keep saying these things to yourself and make it part of your identity. The third thing you can do is to make it really easy for yourself and make it really visual. So here I am, and the reason I'm sat on my sofa today is to illustrate this point, because every morning I sit here, right here, and I journal. That is such an established habit for me now that if I don't do it, I feel like my morning is like, I feel like wrong. Like, I'm like, this is what I do. I sit here and I journal. So having a place where you sit and you do a habit every single day really helps, because it's like a visual prompt. So having your journal like right next to you with a pen, making it easy so you don't have to hunt around for the pen every morning. So for me in this, it was about having my journal and having the eye patch sat right on top of my journal on this little side table here. A visual prompt and a reminder, and also something I was doing already where I could stack onto that habit. So after I journaled, putting on the eye patch for 2 minutes, it made it just part of my like everyday process. And the fact that I was it also prompted me every time I sat here to think about, oh, okay, I need to put my eye patch on today. So pick somewhere in your house, and you know, it's easier obviously if you've got a bigger house and you've got lots of rooms where you could do things in. I'm doing this just in a 1-bed flat in London, so we haven't got much space, but having things like having my chair or having your journal by your bedside table, if you journal every night before you go to sleep, have it sat there waiting for you and ready to go. Put your trainers out by the door every morning, so a visual prompt that you need to go for your run. Like, lay out your exercise clothes the night before, make it easy and make it really visual for you to actually do the habit that you want to install every single day. You can also, and people refer to this as like habit stacking. So if you're doing something already, if you've got an established habit, like I've just said about journaling every morning, yours could be, you get up, you make a cup of tea, you wait for the kettle to boil. That's a great time to then fit in your gratitude journal practice if you want to start doing that. Or after or something else, maybe you go for lunch with a friend every Saturday. That time in the morning, that's perfect time for you to say, okay, well, I already have an established practice of going here to go for lunch. Is there a fitness class I could do before I go for that lunch? Think about your current routines and where your habit could fit into what you're doing already. My fourth tip is for you is to write things down and track your progress. So in our planners, we have a section each week which allows you to track your habits and allows you to tick off each day you complete it. When we write something down, we set an expectation of ourselves that we're actually going to do it. And that's really powerful. It's way more powerful than saying to yourself, I'm going to establish a habit of like going to the gym every day, or I'm going to go 3 times a week, or just something in your head. When you actually write it down on paper and you make a plan and then you tick it off, you get that kind of that gratification of ticking something off when you've done it. But you also, there's something that happens with your mindset around actually writing it down and putting pen to paper. You're setting up that expectation that you will do something. You also get the opportunity to imagine yourself actually doing the thing, which is again really powerful. We respond to words and we respond to pictures in our minds, so it's really important to actually write down when you're going to do your habit and keep track of your progress. The final thing which is linked to this is consistency. So it is just about doing it every single day. Habits can take around about on average 66 days to install according to research. Sometimes habits can be established a lot quicker than that, sometimes it takes longer. But the important thing to be is consistent. It's really easy to go on here on YouTube and then find another video about this other hack that you definitely should be including in your morning routine to elevate your days. And it's easy to jump between different things and then jump onto the next new shiny thing, and or try it out for a couple of weeks and then think, well, that hasn't really worked. I tried Rebecca's tips and it didn't work for 2 weeks, so I'm just going to give up and try something else. It takes longer and it takes consistency and focus. So pick just 3 habits that you want to install and just really focus on doing them every single day. These things will become autopilot eventually, but it takes time. Like me, like I was talking about earlier with my journaling practice, it's become a daily habit for me now, and it's not something I need to write down on track because I just do it, and it's more alien to me now not doing it. But it's taken a long time for me to get to that point. It's taken probably like even I'd say years of just kind of doing it every day to get to this point. Some habits, they do form quicker, but it's just about focusing and being consistent with what you want to do. If you can also connect it to your goals and to make it that it's something that's really going to help you move forward, and there's a bigger reason behind just doing the habit. If I didn't have a bigger reason, like for actually doing this uncomfortable thing, wearing this awkward eye patch, like it would be a lot harder for me to do if I was just doing it for the sake of it. Like it, you know, but I'm actually doing it to improve something. I'm doing it to help me reach a goal, which is why it's like that's extra motivation for actually completing the daily action that will form a habit eventually. So I really hope you found these tips useful, and they will really help you to install some new habits. Let me know how you get on with these tips in the comments below, and I hope that, and tell me some of your success stories. I would love to hear how you've tried some of these things out, and I'll also let you know how I get on with this, and in the long term whether we can make some improvements. I'm pretty determined that I will be able to, so yeah, I will definitely let you know. So in the meantime, I hope you definitely check out my other videos if you like this sort of thing around habits and goal setting. So I've got lots of other videos on here as well. And check out my Instagram as well, which is full of lots of inspirational, motivational quotes. You can also find my planners on the website where you can track your habits and can help you to achieve your goals by breaking them down into weekly goals and daily actions. So they're super useful if you are interested in that. And I will see you all around the internet very soon.